Today I'm going to be answering the question, was there one specific defining moment that made me want to sell the house, downsize, and start the adventure? And actually, that's the actual question verbatim. Or number two, was it a series of moments and learnings and decisions that brought me here over time? I get this question a lot. I wanted to answer it in one fell swoop. And hopefully, sharing my journey will give you some ideas and some inspiration for perhaps thinking about your life differently. Or if you want to pursue something like this, maybe my ideas would be some thought starters for you. So my specific defining moment, the lightning strike that set me down this road. Well, psych, there was no single thing. I think people wish that there was a single thing so that, when they ask me this question, they could get a really neat and tidy answer that could help them tie me up in a box or understand me better in some way. But there really isn't just one thing. And the reality is that every single small and perhaps insignificant at the time thing that's happened to me over the past few years brought me to where I am today. And, looking back, I see the value and the impact that all of those moments had. So, for instance, travel. The travel that I did throughout my adult life, domestic and international, both by car and by plane, the progression of traveling with my family, going on tours, group travel, traveling with friends, to adding on a few solo days to tours, to finally traveling by myself for longer and longer and longer time periods, and then backpacking through Europe for a month 4 years ago. Progression, right? I didn't start out with the big thing. I ramped up. And the downsizing and the minimizing I did when I was unemployed, when I was running out of money. This was also 4 years ago. Consigning clothes, jewelry, rethinking, revamping my spending habits, limiting extraneous spending, renting out my house for a couple weeks or a couple months for over a number of years, house hacking, experimented with temporary nomad life in those periods where I rented out my house. During that time, the progression of all those experiences helped me to feel less and less of a connection. I became much more detached to the things that I owned, and that all of that work led me to this place where now I started to feel burdened by the things that I still had. Progression. Another example, road trips I would take for a few weeks, the car camping I did. And yes, I was sleeping in the car. I had a mattress. I slept in there. The Honda CR-V kind of cramped, me and Penny. I tried it. I tested the waters. I was seeing what worked for me, what didn't work for me, how I would take on this nomad life journey, and also reevaluating, what really mattered and what I really used and what I needed to have with me. And as far as, dating people, because I felt comfortable in the relationship, continuing to date them, because I felt I had already invested so much in the relationship that I was pot committed. I don't know if you guys know that term if you play poker, but it's a poker term for basically, and feel free to write this down, for feeling like you've already invested so much that you can't fold. Even though the odds of you winning based on the cards in your hand are slim to none, you feel like I've already put so much in there, I have to keep playing. People, that's when you should fold. The same goes for relationships. If you know it's wrong and you know it has no chance, slim to none chance of working out, that's when you should exit the relationship. Deal in a new hand, move on, because you can't get that pot back, you can't get your time back. Ideally, you should start fresh and move on, and the sooner the better. Learning that over time to falling in love and experiencing just an amazing and soul-shattering connection that when it ended, I vowed to never let myself experience anything less. And I've kept that vow since, still looking. And also, feeling and folding under the pressure of society for bigger, better, more, chasing status, appearance, trying to make it in life, realizing just what a money suck all of that was, detaching myself from the things that I misguidedly cared about, including what people thought of me, what people think of me, started to place my emotional energy into things that did matter. And guess what? It's not what I drive. It's not the purse I have, if I'm eating alone or not, or if I'm single in my 30s or not, what my job title is, what my employment status is, all of those things. Who I am in this world is based on my passions, my convictions, how I serve others, the energy that I put out there, not dependent on these external things. And so the point that I'm really trying to make through kind of all of that, all of those stories, is that in many aspects of my life, it's been a progression. That's to say that becoming who you're meant to be, the best version of yourself, is a journey. It is a slow and gradual process. It is not necessarily linear, and it happens over time. And it happens with practice and experimentation and self-discovery. You take a bite, you chew it, you savor it. You might not have another bite for a while, and you might like it better the next time, or maybe you don't. I think these are all moments that are growing for us, and we have to look for those moments where we can grow. By no means have I figured it all out yet. I am still growing, and I am still changing and developing and evolving, and we are not meant to be stagnant. We are not meant to go through life blindly. Every day is a choice. We can reprogram how we think and what we want to prioritize. And change happens through growth, and we grow through challenges. So if we're never challenged, we're stagnant. And I hope that we look for those challenges, the choices that we see in front of us that are scary to make. Those are the ones that are going to make you grow. And guess what? They don't have to be big. They don't have to be monumental or massive. So when I decided to sell my house and 98% of my things and reject violently materialism and commercialism and the standard Western way of living, it was to challenge myself and to grow. I felt stagnant in Phoenix, even more so in the middle of a pandemic. I didn't want to be trapped and festering in Phoenix. I'd been there 11 years, and I don't know, festering seems like the right word because it was 115 degrees out when I made the decision. But what really may have looked like a snap decision at the time had really been building up and materializing within me over a long time. And my way forward was illuminated when I realized that my house and my crap, it was a cage keeping me stationary, keeping me from growing. I wanted to fly. I wanted to go farther, longer, more permanently. And, I had traveled and downsized in the past, but those were fleeting and temporary and brief. And it was time for me to one-up myself and pursue the next milestone. Start with those miniature challenges. And maybe they're big at the time, but then when you go so far, you'll see where those steps were in your progression. And it is a progression. If you're waiting for, that lightning bolt, don't think it works that way. Do a dinner out solo, do a weekend away or a week, change up how or where you normally travel to, one up yourself from the last time, farther, longer, more complicated, more exotic, whatever, and keep it up. And you'll get there and you'll grow and you'll be challenged, and nothing happens overnight. So you could also at home do some spring cleaning. You can go to consignment, you can donate, you can have a garage sale, sell your old electronics. There's a million things you can do, and being more conscientious about what you buy and what you collect. Rethink your habits. Ask yourself, when you're going through the motions, is this internal? Is this coming from within? Is this in my nature? Or is there some external force telling me what to do? Well, guess what? That external force, marketing, society, messages, advice from others, that should really have no bearing on your life. Also in dating, identify what you want, go after it. when it's apparent it's not there, be straightforward, swift, honest, kind, and extract yourself. Any time spent with someone who's not right for you is time that you're not spending with someone who could be. That person should be someone who makes your life richer, your already rich life richer. So the cherry on top of a delicious sundae. Already delicious sundae. And anything less is not worth your time. So fold that hand, lose your initial investment, and move on to investing with someone else who is worth your time. That is winning the game in the end. So to reiterate, small changes, small decisions, small moves, that's what will change your life. You don't need to flip your life upside down. You don't need to blow things up. You can take baby steps, one step at a time, and do what you can, and challenge yourself and ask yourself, is this coming from within? Anything that I'm doing, is it coming from within, or am I following some external marketing message or the like? And be true to yourself. If you are at all inspired by this, leave a comment or share this video with a friend. And if you're not, hopefully this quote will do the trick. It's by Scott Stabile. And he says, "I was still water held by my surroundings. I am now a river carving my own path." I'm signing off from Portland, Maine, guys. So I will definitely enjoy my next few weeks here, having the time of my life. Always appreciate your comments and your feedback. Let me know your questions. You know how to reach me. Aloha. Bye, everybody.